All right, thank you. I'm just going to say hi. Hi everyone. Today is September 28th. I can't believe that September is about to be done. Um, 28, 2025. This is a Sunday class, no winter class. So welcome. We're going to review a little bit of the virtual code first. And for those who miss, I think it's a good time to recap. Let me see if I could put that. Let's share this one first. Okay. Hopefully you could see that. And we use this as a part of our attunement and it's also the enrichment of spiritual actualization last time we met. And before we did a meditation, we kind of briefly look at this visually and see which code, color, or position is all relevant matter. Kind of, how you have more affinity toward. And then it's very natural to have more than one. But then, you could focus on, kind of your heart ring. Oh, wow, I just can't take my eye off. That's really good, or something about it, or for sure. Everybody has a different thing, but it doesn't really matter. Just, but put your focus on one and that is the one you're gonna focus on. And there is always a message because that is a code, position, or a part of your DNA, part of the self chakra meridian system. It's all the same thing, or a dimension that correspond to that symbol. It's you're aligning yourself to this point. So it's a lot of things behind it, but to make it simple, we kind of talk about position or color or number. um, I don't know if everybody remember your thing. Mine was actually, I did remember many people say one, that red. And then I did have some coding for that too. Mine was this one, the 12, the top, the pale white one. And I think, Kira, you said purple, which is
Seven. Right,
seven,
the
right?
purple. I don't know. Because I thought you had said the red was one. So when I just went one, two, three, four, five, six, seven.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. So seven, I think I don't think we cover. So seven is one this.
You
It's
didn't.
Yeah, beautiful violet, and then it actually has a code in it. And as you can see, this is original kind of standing wave. So it is ever moving consciousness flow. But if you were to freeze it, that this is what it look like. And if you take from here to the symbol code, um, I will zoom out, but this is in the color, the dominant color, violet. And then the code, I don't know if you see here, that's taking that from the pattern of the movement of consciousness movement and flow depicted as this code. And then even more condensed form is this one right here inside. So when you look at the symbol, it is actually represent a being, the group, collective consciousness, and then actually just kind of you and I, they actually talk, interacting a lot of part of you, consciousness, and evolve, and sometimes it moves, for some people. So yeah, play with it and take it through your third eye and see what happens. So let me share a little bit more deeper about this seven so you could look at it a little bit more. Hold on just a second. Let's go back to I had some individual things open, but just bear with me. I had to pull out this manual up at this moment. So down, 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 down. Okay. Here's a two, three, four, five, six. Oh, here you go. Ah, seven. So cyan, that's a virtue seven. And now you can see more clearly the pattern symbol and then more abbreviated symbol, like kind of like mirror image of a Nike or something. Um, okay. So the components are the following: reserve, economy of speech, deep listening, articulation. That's kind of, I definitely could see that alignment with the keyword. Um, quality as a communication, chakra 7, you know, um, there's a cutter, right? And elements are air and ether. Tone is I don't know, mo.
Or Mao, Mo,
Wow.
Mo, Mo. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at it and then it's very different from this, but that is a tone. So if you want to tone it. Now this doesn't have a cutter, but I know I have a cutter of that. So that is the 7 is, as you can see, it corresponds to crown chakra and dimension 7, right? So your crown chakra is in alignment with you, meaning that it's being activated and open and the most active part of your body and chakra. So that is the one thing. And if you really want to connect through it, now is an easier time for you to do so. Um, through the code or through the cutter. Maybe you find yourself wearing it, the same cutter, or, it's interesting as you kind of start to noticing. Now, as you said, the opposite is correspond to. So if you're interested in, aligned to this energy, likely you're going to be aligned to the opposite, which one? Red, and vice versa. So it's interesting. It's some of them reflect in astrology as well, but anyway, I just wanted to go over with you, Kira.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Connie, are you okay with it, or?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, good. Okay, so let's go through today's topic, and the person actually requested is not here, but that's usually happen. Interesting, but anyway, let me see the slide. Hopefully you're gonna see the slide. It's much easier to see in a bigger screen. So it is a winter class going through. It's very important series, core of spirituality and enrichment, which is expanding yourself to the greatest self on earth, this incarnation. So eventually our goal is to be completely merged with God's self, divine self. And that is a part of me, myself, and an I series, and knowing, expanding who am I, and I am this I am. Now, you see there's a different masks here. This is it is a mask, but in a sense that represent kind of a different aspect of who you are, in a micro level, but it's more macro level. So you're gonna go through that conceptually first. Before we're gonna go through the lecture, we're gonna all kind of ground and align ourselves. So let us take a deep breath in and exhale. Feel your body, your mind coming one and becoming one. And those you here now merging yourself with Mother Earth. We are here now upon Mother Earth. Feel her surface and heart. Inhale, bringing up the earth's energy. Exhale. Feel the opening of your heart chakra, as much of the protection of the pillar. Feel the blessing from the divine blueprint. Your connection to deeper place of the universe, all the way down to the core of the earth. Feel the stardust energy coming down upon you. Shroud yourself with a golden light. Visualize a teardrop shape expanding and hugging your auric field. Feel the healing water, ether, the elementals. Feel the energy of Christus, Christalla, inside and outside. Feel the brilliant energy of you. Now slowly open your eyes. Just like this lotus in a pond, no matter what is the environment beneath our world, you always look up in the sky, and the purity of a white petal represent the spirit of who you are. Okay, so we're gonna gently moving into the topic, me, myself, and an I, and I'm not gonna go through those incarnation, reincarnation, life review, or consciousness drop. They are all related field and topics which kind of bring us together to questioning the spiritual question or spiritual quest built within us. The various time of our life, or some people are already awakened at birth. Those things come very naturally, but throughout our lifetime, from others and ourselves, it's kind of can't help um, thinking of, those things. I myself going through life review, the mini life review, quite often, and it's not a bad thing. As we dream through or feel the other incarnation in a different time and space. To me, it's very natural, but for some, it's foreign or strange. But some of those things, we all exposed are very familiar to some of you. Some work with it, right? So it's not. Hopefully, it's not too strange topic. But all those this point is kind of touch upon basically defining, redefining, and expanding your consciousness. So it is a spiritual thoughts, and then it actually built in and within. So I'm hoping that at some point of your life you thought of this. I hope. I'm just gonna kind of like to hear what your thoughts are now, and you think of this often or used to or not so much.
I think I think of it so much more now, just like with the work that I'm doing and just my own spiritual development. I feel like it comes up so much more, and I feel so much more connected knowing where I did come from and where I'm going to go after.
Mhm. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. And I'm sure you learn through the interaction from others, and yeah, I think it's amazing and awesome. I'm not sure, Dan, you wanna add something or maybe later?
Yeah, not right now.
Okay, got it. So it is not a bad things to meditate on, and it doesn't necessarily need to just only internally, but externally. And it's not more and more you do this, it's you start to kind of understand. It's actually pretty similar either way. Listen, observe, seek, and a lot of things you notice outside. It's a lot of time the reflection or mirroring, right? More of the awareness and how you treat yourself with that information or how you ask, and you start to knowing who you are. So now there's other things to ignore. And then sometime in life, we start to ignore those things. It's just too much. Or, and then that's also understandable. And it happens. And then sometimes we need a break. Hopefully you're going to come back to start to working on yourself. Just to, that's more like a natural state of the human. Because human are built or birth from the spirit, and then that is the spirit being, and obviously you're gonna go back to the spirit, and then hopefully this is becoming more like I don't know how to say this, but riding a bicycle or eating a breakfast, that kind of things. So yeah, meditation is important. Doesn't need to be structured meditation, but it's kind of stop and then listen to your heart and honor the feelings rather than kind of ignore or doing something very hard just to hide those urge that feel like you cannot answer, which I see all the time outside, through the people's behavior. But then show up as if you suppress, I'm not talking to you guys, but the people who suppress too long and manifest as anxiety and anger, frustration, and more skewed behaviors, right? Because your heart is saying something and you keep ignoring, and eventually you're suppressing too much and manifesting in a odd direction. Anyway, you could Google on those things. And then I myself did Google on the spiritual quotes that the most cited or popular one. And those are a few things. And I wonder, Connie or Kira, if you don't mind, read some of those quotes.
I can read you.
Thank you.
The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you really are, Carl Jung. The greater the soul, the deeper the waters it navigates. We are all just walking each other home. Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
The quieter you become, the more you can hear. To live with an open heart is to embrace the possibility that nothing is impossible. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Do not look for a sanctuary in anyone except yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, I really chuckle like we are just walking each other home. I love this. Yeah. This is something that quite popular one is we are what what we are not, or something like that. Basically, the way to find out who you are is to keep finding out what we are not. And I think some teachers, spiritual teachers, say that's the only way to define who you are. That's an interesting angle, rather than finding out what, because I think we are so many of what's, right, things and stuff, and it is the best to define as what's not. So kind of more like creating parameter rather than finding a dot. That's also the interesting perspective. So it kind of give you the different angles and things, and even the quotes that make you stop and think and ponder. It is kind of telling you who you are, and mirroring effect or whatever, kind of pulling you, you're resonating or touching the part of the activated DNA. So that's another way. So the frequency is being touched or resonate. So you could take a look at that, so you will kind of finding out what you like, even the food or color, the things or stuff, and the hobby or things you repeatedly do every day. That is not coincidence, there is some frequency match there, and it's something that you're working on, or more, it's important for you, or fueling you or feeding you. Hope it is a positive way, right? And then if it's not, I usually like a play or intent, I seek help or ask myself, you know, empower myself to please, help me, or let's improve this part of myself, kind of things. I think to me, it's very important right now because I've been seeing a lot of my, the aspect of in properly developed aspect of myself. It's a lot of triggering points. So that's actually wonderful. I like that. There's definitely some awareness left, right? So those are things that hopefully you could make a notes and things like that, to kind of where you're at and then how you want to expand to which direction. Okay. Now it is this is truly my statement. Finding is remembering, so finding out who you are is actually part of remembering who you were, who and who you are now, kind of same things. I don't know, you notice, a lot of time you don't notice if something comes so easily. Thing that you do is you're so good at it. People said, "Oh my God, you're so good at these things," and then you don't feel anything of it. That's not a big deal. This is nothing to me. Do you have those things? I'm sure you do. And then those are the things you actually did so many times. And at some point, you're probably an expert of doing that. So this incarnation, it comes very easily because you've done it 1,000 times or could be more. So think about that from that perspective and connect back to the, incarnation, who you were. That's eventually it is who you are. It's the same thing, but from that angle, it's pretty interesting. And now on top of it, that's probably you are on Earth. Now there's something, some people, no matter how many times you teach or being taught, struggle, right? And like everything comes so difficult for some people, and a lot of time there was a very fresh soul. There wasn't that many incarnation on Earth. Very difficult for those individuals. Very frustrating. Not many, but they all they do exist. So you might be a little bit more. No, I mean, I don't want to make too much more comment on that, but that's like one way to look at, an interesting way to look at. So another thing is like I feel like I knew this place. Deja vu. I'm really interested in have any of you had like a deja vu experience?
Many times.
Really? Yeah, tell me if you don't mind.
I can remember specifics, but it definitely happens where I'll either like see somebody or I'll be somewhere and I'll be like, oh, this is so familiar. I've done this before.
Ah,
Hmm.
yeah. I was you, Connie.
Yeah, me too. I definitely feel like sometimes I meet somebody and I say, "Oh, don't I know you from somewhere?" And I don't know where, but they say, "I don't know you." That's me,
And you say, oh, yes, you do.
right person. Or like I just met someone. They're like, "You're Connie," and I said, "Yeah, I know you." I said, "You do? From how?" They couldn't remember, but they knew who I was, and I had no idea who they were. So I don't know. I think like your mind sometimes blocks some things out, and other times you just, like even when I went to Ireland, I felt like I was there before, and I was never there.
Oh, that's neat.
In this life, I wasn't there, but I felt like I was there. I said, "Oh, I remember this place," and I never went there.
Yeah, but I do see you are very tight connection to that land. So yeah. But anyway, I'm glad. I'm so, it is something you feel, and it's, there's no proof, but um I think those feelings and thoughts, it's pretty important. Um and then sometimes it's so important to this life, and you be able to find out. That's my belief. And then if it's not, I mean, it's there out there for you. You know, could be empowering or it's mystical, and things like that. But sometimes it's important, so they let you know why, and you start to know more of. But that's not necessarily, you have to know every single detail, let's say. But that's neat that you both have that experience. Dan, do you have something like that too?
Yeah, I had more the deja vu, more the precognition kind of stuff when I was younger. It's not as prevalent as it was, but I still have it from time to time. But the mode of communication for me has changed, where before almost everything came to me through a dream state. And now more things come intuitively, where I just go, I just kind of ask the ether, what's going on here? And then I just kind of wait a second, see what it says. It's more like that. So I have a more real-time connection instead of a delayed connection.
Mm,
So it's been more like that. But yeah, the deja vu thing, yeah, still all the time. Sometimes it's like, gee whiz, can I have a day sometimes where I don't? And there are days sometimes when I don't. So it's all right. It's all right. It all serves.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, I would call those a spiritual experience. Everyone has at least one mystical, pretty not just one, but just one mystical experience. Maybe people don't remember, but they do. And to me, massive spiritual awakening followed by various coincidences. So that was, to me, it's more like it was yeah, there's a lot of mystical things ever since I remember, when I was very small. But then those come and go, it's phase, and I didn't like it too much back then, those things. Nobody really explained to me what those things are. So I kind of detached myself mainly because of not be able, I'm not be able to function well. If I keep thinking of that, focusing on those experience. So, but unfortunately, the massive kind of thing happened to me. So I guess it's the whole those period of experiences. I was just gonna say massive awakening, which is kind of nice way to say it, I guess, by various coincidences. So there's a certain point of the life. There was no point of return, and it is more like yeah, it's I love the analogy of a hummingbird. I think it's a lot of spiritual teacher use a hummingbird as a metaphor. It's not only the existence itself is kind of amazing, but they are one of the few flying bird to be able to stop in mid-air, go backward and forward, basically all direction, right? Um, so that is be kind of how do you say this? Be able to access, right? Not just a time, forward or backward, but it's a different selves, the place upon in a different time space continuums. So it's kind of cool. And the birds are known to travel back and forth at different dimensions. So pop in dream states, astral, and come back in and out. So that's why fluttering wings, and you kind of can see it and also then appear from somewhere, that kind of things. But anyway, you know what I mean. It's you being used, bird are often used a kind of spiritual metaphor. So what I wanted to say is I don't think I need to convince this group, but for those who doesn't watch the movie, they thought this is gonna be interesting insert. Hope we're just gonna start. Let's see.
My ticket, you're talking to me about healing through belief.
You're a man looking at the world through a keyhole, and you've spent your whole life trying to widen that keyhole, to see more, to know more. And now, on hearing that it can be widened in ways you can't imagine, you reject the possibility.
No, I reject it because I do not believe in fairy tales about chakras or energy or the power of belief. There is no such thing as spirit. We are made of matter and nothing more. Just another tiny, momentary speck within an indifferent universe.
You think too little of yourself.
Oh, you think you see through me, do you? Well, you don't. But I see through you.
I pushed your astral form out of your physical form.
What's in that tea? Psilocybin? LSD?
Just tea. With a little honey.
Oops, sorry. I don't know how many people watch this. I think it's a really good movie. Just giving you background where he was really shocked, not only because he had out of body experience here, but also the hands he damaged are able to move now in an astral form. So as a surgeon who lost all the coordination, it was kind of like, wow, moment. It's a film, Doctor Strange. One of the favorite films. I think it's very well made. Anyway, so hopefully it was entertained. We're entertained. Sorry. Okay. So the following is coming from various texts. Those ancient text, and obviously I can't go through everything, but hopefully I summarized to the point where they nail the important point of the main topic today. Okay, so it's a little dense. I was kind of hoping that Jeffrey is here because he likes to read, but we don't have him, so hopefully can somebody read this. Let's see, like a first half at least. Any volunteer?
Okay.
Connie.
The reality of the cycle of the rounds holds great personal significance as well as unprecedented, I can't even say these words. Maybe I shouldn't read. Collective importance. The individuals incarnated within the other evolutionary rounds are simultaneously incarnations of ourselves. The fact that we exist here today implies that we also have a personal expression of self within each of the other evolutionary rounds. In the cycle of the round blueprint, there are 4 rounds, each containing 3 planetary time cycles, for a total of 12 planetary time cycles in the particular particle universe. This interwoven set of 12 planetary time cycles is called a planetary 12 cycle. There is corresponding evolutionary 12 cycle concurrently taking place within the anti-particle universe of parallel Earth. The cycle of the rounds divine blueprint includes both the particle and anti-particle cycles for a total of 2 planetary 12 cycles within the cycle of the rounds.
Yay! Thank you. You done wonderfully. So yeah, it's like mouthful thing, but without, so it looks complicated, but it's all thing is summarized. It's a lot of those time cycles, and time is more cycle than the linear things because that is how the time works. Time is like a vortex field where going round and round and round. As you're going around, each round we kind of accrete, absorb the energy, conscious energy, the frequency, and become more and more higher dense frequency, which become the future. So that is what the time, mechanic of time in, so that's why they say cycle. So we are in a cycle, just like Earth goes, rotate itself and go around the sun, right? That is a time, and it's really literally that. It's a mechanics, and then also mechanic physics, whatever. But that's how we are, that's how the time works, right? And also the time being perceived. Now, what they're saying here, there's a many different times here on Earth and elsewhere. And then the one that we can see, which is called parallel or anti. Why? Because it's almost a negative film. So, before we manifest in this matter, there is a spirit form, and that is a parallel or anti-particle universe. And that's something actually we wanted to touch upon at some point. It becomes some importance for some people because those are the one that helping you that during this ascension time. You could shows up in a healing session, or you start to feeling or seeing and wondering what that is. So I just want to explain that for those who are experiencing that kind of anti-self phenomena. But anyway, basically there's a lot of different things going on simultaneously, meaning at the same time we breathing now, but the other you in a different time and space, and even anti-self, like a parallel earth, you are there, your consciousness flowing there, exist same time here. um so that is what they are talking about, very much like when the previous film they push his body outward and he started to feel that consciousness could exist and function in a different place, right? Um, and then if you just simply imagine that your consciousness are actually going on and be able to sustain itself, let's say in a dream state. Every time you go in bed, you dream. Just imagine that you keep going on that, the dimension or dream state. And then let's say if this is a dream state, one point, the massive dream state. So a lot of consciousness dreaming at the same time. So creating this reality. But it is not too hard to believe that a lot of different things happening simultaneously, but that's they are saying more, yeah, scientifically, right? Exactly how many and how consciously float. So it looks strange, but we could just say there's a lot of you floating around in different time and space, and then it's actually existing here and now, all one place, even though I can't see it. And I explain. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I used to have years ago this meditation, like a guided meditation tape.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say it was at least 20 years ago. Um, and every time I did this tape, I had an outer body experience. Like I felt like I wasn't in my body.
Mm-hmm.
And it like I couldn't do it because it was like so disturbing to me.
Yeah,
It just like really creeped me out.
yeah,
And I had given that tape to someone else because I just didn't, I felt so unlike safe because I just didn't know what was happening.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I probably did that tape maybe 4 times, but every single time I did it, it happened.
yeah,
I don't know if it was like the waves that they had in the tape or whatever, but something just made me feel like I was looking at myself, like
yeah,
above myself.
yeah. I think well I can, it's hard. I mean that time you place as a negative. I did a lot those things before. Um it's interesting though, right? But at least you have that experience, maybe you could comprehend what they're saying here. You kind of open up your thoughts and consciousness, it's not only what you've been taught or what you could repeatedly prove, mechanically. In a matter world, there's a lot of non-matter things happening all around us. And then not necessarily, you could experience that in a right condition. So yeah, I do understand it's a very ungrounding experience. And yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
um but I think I mean I like that. I would really like that you share the experience because it's make it easier to going through this material.
Well, like at the time, I didn't like the experience.
Yeah,
I felt like, I don't know. I just felt like I was like unsafe. I
right.
was like in, I don't know. I felt like I was in like a different area where something could happen to me.
Okay. So
I
that's important to listen to that because there's a lot of pockets. It's not safe.
Yeah.
So
So
good that you gotta follow that. And then I know you have a very strong sense of self. So, I'm glad that you did the right things.
yeah, I just didn't like that. I got rid of that right away.
Yeah, that's good. It's a lot of manipulation happening in those pocketed area. So it's not, yeah. Without going through too much of it, yeah. So thank you for reading it. It's a mouthful. I'm just gonna go through those two bullets. The pattern of two planetary 12 cycle is a core manifestation template of the angelic human evolutional blueprint. To incarnate in human form, a consciousness must adapt this primary order of the angelic human evolutional evolutionary blueprint, divine blueprint, meaning that what the Connie led above. There's a bunch of different cycle and blah blah blah. Um, Basically, why that is that originally we are spirit. Spirit has certain sacred geometrical form loosely, but it's gigantic things. And then in order to come into this very dense place in a tiny body, the whole big spirit cannot go in. So we have to divide and split and all sorts of things to kind of place ourselves in a many different kind of the teardrop. If you're ocean and you have like a tiny mug of coffee cup, you have to go in there. How do you pour yourself, ocean pour yourself to the itself to the coffee mug, right? You do in a sequence. You could divide into 12 first, like a 12 big stream of river, and then so forth. And then eventually become tiny creek and then becoming like the teardrop eventually. So that's basically what this is. Um, so it's always there and then always here. We're just not interacting each other constantly. That doesn't mean it don't exist. So that's what they are saying. And it's very sometimes difficult for us to understand because this reality is very looks separated, as a matter form, and it looks like it has nothing in between and nothing gonna go through our body or solid surface, right? It's kind of hard to believe everything it's like a kind of fluid. That certainly doesn't give us impression. So it's very well defined reality, but that's not necessarily always seeing is what that is. Now, every human incarnate is a part of the larger family of incarnate selves called the personal Christos. The personal Christos is the eternal personal identity that includes 1728 simultaneously incarnations, each placed within various space, time, location, or time vectors within a full round of the cycle of the round. So And it's I'm not gonna go into this because it's get kind of unnecessarily complicated. But the whole thing I want you to remember is there's a lot of you, going around the dance table in a different time and space, the continuum. So this is like interesting to me. It's a very interesting film because in a way it is kind of like this. I think everything everywhere all at once. Um, you know, I thought this is really too long. I just couldn't watch all the way. I was like, oh my God, finished already. I got the idea. But it was, it was a fun, and the kind of, I don't know, people saw it. I don't want to say too much just in case somebody going to see it. But its concept is here being captured well. I thought it's pretty well done and conceptually. Okay. So the one of the things specifically I like to focus on today is not so much about ourself on Earth in a different time and space spectrum, but it's anti-self. Because I don't think we covered so much. And recently popped up because of some of the session I did is anti-self being helping. The part of the healing facilitator. And I realized we never covered this one. So it is kind of interesting idea, but the being very close to you exists now in parallel Earth, and it's a parallel self, and sometimes it's called anti-self or anti-Earth or anti-realm. It's not anti meaning the opposite, but this case is part of a manifestation sequence. Everything is in a flow with energy. It doesn't come matter first. It comes as a form of non-matter, non-physical, and then that become the physical. So think of like egg and chicken. There's no way the egg exists without having a chicken in mind, right? And how the egg exists will have to have a chicken. So which is the first? There's no such a thing which is the first. It's have to be simultaneous expression, except that there is a divine blueprint before. And if you go trace all the way back, it's starting from before that, it's starting from thoughts, and before that, will. Before that is a desire of a creation, the one of the first creative sequence of that, so-called God's mind. There is a massive amount of consciousness, the expressed desire to create. That's where the whole thing was started. But now there's no time and space there, so you can't really place the time. Oh, how long it for the God consciousness took to manifest this blueprint. I don't think anybody could answer that, but I understand it's a pretty long time to bring up the master blueprint where it's contain everything. So every manifestation is coming from this blueprint to manifest in various different, incredible variation of the matter and species, race, and vehicle that the spirit could indulge and express itself in the realm that created for the corresponding dimensions. So from that sequence, we all have a parallel consciousness, the self, the floating around in a parallel space, Earth, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes it can like to merge with you. It's showing where oftentimes it's a spiritual crossroads, which is an ascension time for you to actually pretty close to exit this realm, or it's a critical point of your health or wellness that they really need to merge with you to facilitate your wellness, or vice versa. If your parallel self is very ill, for whatever the reason, it will affect you here, and same thing going back and forth. So sometimes it comes very close to your attention and you start to feeling and seeing sometime, who the heck is this person? And then oftentimes you wouldn't know it's you. It's somebody very how do you say this? Adore. You just like, oh my gosh, so yawning sensation where, oh my goodness, I've been looking for you forever. Where have you been? Type of kind of a burning sensation. Like really want to be, don't want to separate, right? And then usually opposite gender. I mean, I've been argued back and forth before in a spiritual community, but for me, it's opposite gender, and usually that's what it is. It's an opposite expression in a parallel world. So the parallel Earth is a masculine expression, and the matter world here is a feminine expression. It's called gender fin. It is a simple dominant spin. So I'm a female here. My parallel self is a male. So I wanted to introduce this concept because we never touch upon, and I want you to kind of feel familiar with, expression of parallel earth, parallel self, anti whatever, so that you have something to reference back to or ponder or challenge the idea of this. So let's come back to, this is the fun things. Is anybody could read this? 12 strand angelic human.
You want from the top, like
Yeah.
the 12 strand angelic humans there,
Yes.
like both of those little paragraphs.
Yes.
Okay, I wrote them down, so I went through it once in my head. All right, so 12 strand angelic humans have one self in each of the 72 time vectors of the particle universe planetary 12 cycle, and 72 selves in the corresponding anti-particle planetary 12 cycle 72. I think that's supposed to be selves, right? Not shelves.
Yeah.
And then
Good
12
catch.
planetary time cycle equals 864 selves per, is that one planetary 12 cycle plus 864 selves parallel universe planetary 12 cycle equals 1,728 selves in the tribal shield.
Oh, thank you. This so you definitely.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. How can I? Okay, let's fix that now. Shelves. There's another one, right? Where was it here?
Before, yeah.
I can't see. It's getting so dark here. Should turn on the light. Okay, one. I thought it's one more something weird. Well, I mean, that's it probably. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So when I first learned, I got really frustrated because I can't picture it. So I drew the diagram so I could understand what's going on. And then I don't know you want to see it because I'm not sure how much you're interested in, but so that's explanation of why I came up to the number. I always wanted to challenge this. I mean, if I were up there in a spirit, do I really want to spirit in this fine order? I probably want to hold some of the cells up there. I probably only send a little bit of my spirit self, you know? And how can I go back? To bring everybody together to put it up, that's kind of a lot of work. But who knows? I have nothing to prove. Only, time here and there. I went all the way up. Somebody put, because I had a lot of questions. Somebody pulled all the way up and make me watch from the the stop point, the one undifferentiated point, and looking down. How all the thing is moving. That was really neat. But that didn't really answer this question. But yeah, that's what it said in the text. And I have no mean to prove it, just like a lot of things. But I wanted to introduce the concept of it's not so much Darwinism where the bacteria, evolve all the way up to building up the consciousness. It's already consciousness is there now all together in everything. And then it's kind of make it itself very fine tiny things to experiencing different things. Okay, and that's a kind of very different, right? Mentality or attitude toward the life and a spirit and an honoring God or whatever and a oneness. I think so. It's very different from kind of Darwinism kind of conceptual evolution versus we are more like evolved already and we are going back to the evolved self. Process could be the same, but anyway, I thought it's kind of important. Now, tribal shield is very important things because that is basically where we're going to go back to. That is our mission. The tribal shield, which I don't know, you remember 12 tribe song of a song? That is a whole thing about becoming one, knowing you, me, myself. The whole journey is eventually going back to this tribal shield, the collective force. Okay. So here it comes, there's a heroic, and then this tribal shield include anti-self, right? Parallel self. That's something, I don't think we cover just because, things makes things complicated, but it's actually quite important as you develop yourself spiritually. Okay. Heroic potential. So that is basically same thing as this, becoming one. And that's basically heroic potential. Now, heroic potential is a little bit more easier to understand because usually when people say heroic potential, it's 12 selves coming together, which is your soul. So your soul, people keep saying your soul. Your soul is 12 of you, your incarnate self spread out, coming together as a one. What does it mean is you here now, right? There's another 12, 11 of you out there in this same space-time continuum. Now all of you start to aware or awaken the spirituality, and there's another you floating around here and then wanting to become ascend. And if all the 12 of you going upward, the teardrop shape, the tiny point up, right? You energetically become that shape. Once all the 12 of you become 12 teardrop shape, you merge one and become soul, the soul body. And the same thing will be likely happening in an anti-parallel, probably before that, happening. That's what kind of urging you to become another form, and the two teardrop come together and then become your full soul, mind, soul, body. And then that is a point you exit from this dimension to the next heaven, harmonic universe, because you're such a large soul. You're no longer fitting here. So that is a heroic potential. I'm not sure, Dan, would you mind reading this? It is okay if you don't want to.
Let me see. Heroic potential. We have the ability to choose by where we put our frequency, not just our thoughts. Which our frequency, but our frequency. That if we realize that the one you'll see in the future is what you're creating of now with manifestation, the mindset that you have, you're creating a wave pattern by whatever is in your mind right now, whatever ideas you have. Heroic probability is the fullest expression of divine blueprint across time.
Yeah, whew, we gotta chill. I gotta chill. So this is so important. It is your thoughts count, your mindset count, and that's the echo, the frequency you set forward. You're making a pathway to your future. And are you also doing the same thing? Hopefully all of you are in the same direction and an attitude toward up and onward, and we meet. Now, the karma. I'm sorry, did somebody try to say something?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So I want to mention karma. Karma is something used negatively sometimes. I'm talking about negative karma where when we take action, that's how we create karma because it's the consequences. Now, hopefully it's a positive one or neutral one, right? Or neutralizing the one that, whatever. But that is kind of like taxing this pathway, even when we have a massive amount of positive thoughts and if we're creating karma somehow by through the action, repeating action, doing or not doing, that is becoming the tax. So that just want to throw in there. It is also important to eliminating those negative karma from your pathway. So I think this is very brilliantly said. This is another way to say it, but here possibly I wanted to show you one thing, but there is a code I like to share. The only reason I didn't share is the one code I have, it's slightly distorted. So I need to find the undistorted heroic potential code, which you probably seeing it. It's inside of a teardrop shape. And it looks like a croc, but it's not quite. And that's what I'm going back to the meditation, the alignment, attunement we did in the equinox, the 12 virtue, the color code. That's actually help us to come together, increase the frequency to light wavelengths, and likely the one you saw, the position, right? Either that is your position or that's you somewhere in a time spectrum is try to align now that you could match to. So it's really fun to know where you are within the incarnation position in terms of, so you kind of draw your clock and when every time you meditate, where am I? And
I'm just going to ask a question, but when you're doing it could change, right? Because you have 12 different, like, like, just, I'm just going to say, like, say, like, I was red on that chart. No,
okay.
I said, but that can change because my 12 selves could be somebody different that I'd be connecting with. No? Or am I
I mean the placement of your feeling alignment.
like your 12 different selves,
Yeah,
right? So if I'm connecting, like, say, to um
right.
the red pattern,
Yeah,
but that's to one of my other selves, right? So but there's 12 selves.
right, right,
So maybe, if I was meditating now,
right.
I connect to, like, to the yellow? Like, I'm just saying
Yeah,
that still would be, I would just be connecting to a different part of myself.
yeah, that's a good one. That's very good. And it's depend on the yes and no. So let me go back. So so it's mean a lot of things. So for them, yeah, for this is I guess we could use this as a 12 position.
Mhm.
It's not a heroic potential code, but it will do the same. So the alignment attunement we did is the one that connect to the power that we align the most to open up the increase your the capability of spirituality, enrichment, and healing power. And then usually that is the chakra that kind of you get the most power from. Now, also it means it could be that's where you are now, meaning, and then also at the same time, if it's repeated to the same place constantly, likely that's where you are.
Mm.
So I always wanted to know how much influence I have to other incarnations. And I kind of knew where I am, but I am really, each time I convinced that's where my position is. And the position is actually important. I don't know, it's too much over your head or I'm going too much of it. So where you are, you have a position when you come down to 12.
Okay.
Okay? You could be 12 here, you could be here, you could be anywhere. But the position has a hierarchy. So let's say just kind of astrology. If you're 12 or 6, you have a greater influence to other incarnating self. For example, you could energetically influence positively, negatively, obviously, positively awaken or positively encourage the other incarnating self. Sometimes you could even temporarily visit, experience you in different time and space. It's crazy, but that's just an example. So the weaker position would be like, so it's separate one, like non-cardinal position, like 3 and 9, the second, like a strong position. So you could tell other position will be, I'm not saying a weaker is worse, but it is the following supporting position. Like, so if you, let's say I identify myself like a 2 or something, right?
Right.
If my 3 awaken and very, awaken now and very, very, very strongly feel this heroic potential is important, it could influence me directly. I also don't feel like all of a sudden kind of open up to, spirituality or something, or chakra. I want to know chakra or things like that. Start going to spiritual things, or really want to learn about the death, after life. It comes from nowhere, but it's not nowhere. It's actually part of you saying. So that's the one way to, that was the intention of the equinox. But what you are saying are also true. There is also, we have, let's say this could be all Connie. This whole thing is Connie now. This whole 12, okay?
Right.
And let's say you are here now, that you align yourself is a position of red.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's because you pick one of 12 probabilities. That's where you are now. We all pick one of 12. So I pick 6 here for now of all other 12 probability. So you could be another 11, but you pick that because you want to be, you desire to be, and that is the path you take. It's no right or wrong. That's what it is. That's what you chose.
Right.
So that you also, this is also that it become probability. So it's become complicated, right? So it's not 1728 selves, yes, but the probability is times 12. So think about that. Each of you out there, 1728, had a 12 probability to pick, because we have a free will here. At any point of time. Usually, every time we wake up in the morning, we choose the same thing. We wake up in each moment, and I want to do this. I'm going to do this. We choosing position one, probability one. That's how we make the path and things like that. But this is a given. So, so answering your question, yeah, you could be aligning 1 today, but probably 6 months from now, you may feel so much more orange. That's completely fine. Eventually, Connie, when you're the next stage of ascension, we feel whole thing equally. Like we are all, like you feel all, and then becoming this center of the. Do you see the center, the sphere? That's a combination of all. You are simultaneously all 12 probability. You are kind of already there. Like, I don't know, you pick all the probability, it's a conglomerate of all. So the merge yourself with all the things. But I mean, I didn't want to make it complicated. This could go really fine point, but you could think about that way, or you could think about the incarnation point, or you could even think about the activating the DNA, strand 1, strand 2, strand 3, which is correspond to dimension.
Okay, thanks.
It is funny though, because a lot of people say red, and a red and a purple, it's opposing chakra, it's in and out. So your spirit, when I think Connie, you said red. So you are closest to your anti-self.
Yeah, I said the red and the blue were the two that I
Okay,
connected to, but the red was the one that I picked.
right. So red is a root chakra and strand 1, and that's gonna in and out of the reality, the matter, and in parallel on matter, which is a physical and non-physical world. So you are very attuned to unmanifested spirit world. So you're gonna be kind of in and out. So you said you feel strange, out of body experience, but that's just how you're opening to the world if you're aligned to the red.
Hmm.
So if you really want to, I mean, you don't have to, obviously. If you feel you must, or you have a strong desire to meet your anti-self, you are the position that you can now. I mean, optimum condition, optimum if you're aligning to red. That's when you're closest.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'm manifestos. I think I am talking too much. Sorry. Let me go back. So I think we cover. Yeah, I think I could cover all, and I don't think I have it. Yeah, let me see. Just like, do I have it? Oh, I deleted it. Maybe that's better. Just give me a second. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, let's conclude this, and then so this was basically the end of Sunday lecture. I really wanted to introduce the idea of anti-self, and me, myself, part of the me, myself, and an I series. All right. So let us take a deep breath in. Exhale. Now we are closing this session. Our idea and thought is closed and accessible anytime you wish. Till then, 大着 and do it, 大着 and do it, 大着 and do it. All right. Thank you so much, Connie, Kiraj, and Dan joining us today. And I look forward to the recording, and hopefully you're gonna hear some feedback from the folks who listen to the recording also. All right, let's stop the recording now.